And welcome back to Geeking Off the Page, where four clueless assholes try to bore you for over 2 hours. This is episode 6, originally recorded May 17th. So if you've gotten this far, either you're a glutton for punishment or you just want to see how this ends. We all do. Anyways, we record this in Zoom. Normally you listen to it through a podcast. Now you get a chance to see us in action. I pity you. Anyways, enjoy or don't. We don't know.
In a world overrun with an infinite amount of multiverses, originating from a plethora of sources, four longtime friends band together to try to make sense of it all and present it to an audience in an easy-to-digest podcast. This is Geeking Off the Page.
Hi folks, I'm Mike Kitchen, and I haven't watched anything this week, so I hope you guys can hold the conversation.
Hi, I'm Trevor. And no, I can't hold this conversation.
I'm Gavin, and I stubbed my toe on the daily.
And I'm Troy Bowman, and you're not. So welcome to episode 6 of Geeking Off the Page, a collection of like-minded friends. That's right, 6, as I can see in the screen, people counting all their fingers.
Someone's keeping track.
Exactly. And a collective of age-old friends who are just of the same mind of liking comic books and the whatnot with the movies and the TV shows and everything that is involved with the subject matter. And we come together on a weekly basis to try and culminate what's just happened in the previous week to bring this to a hopefully entertaining audience that is slowly but surely what we're doing is hoping to grow. Now, of course, we are early in our stages. Like I said, this is only episode 6, and we're hopefully getting better by the episode. So, as always, we're going to start off with the coming attractions. And the one big thing that I think everyone has on their mind to this week is on Monday, Sony decided to drop the new trailer for Venom 2. So we finally get a little bit more of the actual more of the story. We have a release date, and we now know a little more about what's going to be happening in the movie. So anyone want to take the reins on talking about the beginning of this? Besides the fact that it starts off with hey, you're about to watch a trailer. Here's your trailer. Be sure to stay tuned because the trailer is about to happen starting. Which I think is a thing that they're just starting to do. Like, hey, this is a introduction to the trailer. Be sure to watch the trailer, which is, I think, I'm not enjoying very much. I mean, it has a countdown. It basically, the new trailer starts now, which is also interspliced between quick little shots, someone punching a wall and an officer being attacked behind by the Venom symbiote head and all that sort of thing. It's just kind of silly. But anyways, anyone else want to say something?
At least he's not wearing that horrible wig.
That is true.
No more Ronald McDonald House.
Because of this is what we had to begin with, if everyone remembers. That is the first trailer, actually, this is from the first movie. And then as we go over, let's see if we can get this to go to the next image. And there we go. That's our new Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, and at least he's not wearing that horrible, horrible wig.
Yeah. The nice thing is, too, also, between the two images, you can see that nowadays Woody Harrelson is actually trimmed down a little bit, too. So he looks a little more menacing, because
like the comic book character should be.
Exactly.
Prison weight.
Yes, lost a little bit of prison weight. Yes. Now, whether or not how much time has passed between the first movie and the second movie, there could also be the fact that yes, now he's had his head shaved while he's in prison and all that. Because right now, I don't think we know how much time has actually passed between the first and the second movie. Anyone going to contradict that? Yes, no.
And it hasn't. I don't think it's really determined exactly how long it is.
Right.
I don't know. Now, the one thing I did see, I saw the cast list, And it feels like, so you have Venom, he's an anti-hero, and we're going to have Carnage, he is a definite villain. And then they're like, oh, let's just add in some more. And you're like, why muddy the waters?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
This is exactly what almost every superhero genre movie does, is they carry on. They're like, well, let's just add some more. Let's just pack a little bit more in and see if we can make it all work. And it's just like, I would rather you say we have, protagonist, antagonist, let them duke it out, in a couple different things, a couple different acts, and then bam, movie's done. Not, oh, you have antagonist, protagonist, and a couple more antagonists, and another antagonist. Oh, there could be a protagonist over here, and just stop.
Yeah,
I was thinking this a little bit since last week's podcast, because we were talking about how, like, the fact that Spider-Man's missing from all of this really affects the whole Venom story.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he could have technically gotten the symbiote during Infinity War.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I was thinking all week about that, and just how cool would that have been, where he gets beaten up by Thanos, his iron spider armor gets all beaten up, destroyed, he gets snapped. Then when he comes through the portal after the whole Falcon on your left, he comes in with the black Spider-Man suit. Right? Like, you don't have to explain too much, but he could have shown up in that. The next thing you have Far From Home. Almost all movie, he's wearing that weird shield kind of, what is it, Night Monkey outfit?
Yes. Yeah.
He could have been in the black Spider-Man outfit that entire movie. The fact that it would be Venom, he could change from civilian clothes to Spider-Man, so he didn't have to have the suit packed, because the suit would do it all on its own. And then at the end, he could have, hooked up with Happy, gotten in the Iron Man jet, realized, oh, this is a parasite, get it off, make a new suit, go fight Mysterio. Like, all the story points are there where you could have done that.
Yeah.
And set up for Venom.
You could even have, when he fights, leading up to the fight Mysterio, when he, he's using all the illusionary and the holographics, and he's, can't figure where he's being hit with sonic cannons, and that drives the symbiote off him. So when he hooks up with Happy, he needs a suit. He doesn't have a symbiote anymore. He has nothing. So he's like, I need something.
And the whole theme of Far From Home was the whole idea of, you have Mysterio, you have the Skrulls, like it's all, what would you call it? Like shape changing, fake identities. And the black Spider-Man costume would have fit perfect into that. It would have been an amazing intro to Venom. And so then when we get this movie, it would make sense.
And even with the thing with Fury, you see him on the scroll, he's enjoying himself on the scroll ship. You can even have one of the Skrulls coming up and saying something like, don't even just say it's on Earth. It's been released on Earth. And that's why that's why Fury has to, get off his chair and get back to Earth. Just as it's been released. It doesn't say what it is, but based off the movie that's, we just watched, we understand what it is. It's the parasite is now loose on Earth. And that would segue beautifully into, now you can do your Venom movies, and Spider-Man doesn't have to physically be there, but he was there.
But then you can build it, because then at that point you've tied them together. So when they fight, then it's going to be epic. So the whole time watching this trailer, that's all I was thinking. It's like, man, if they had only sort of got the ducks in a row and handled the story properly, like, this would be a lot more exciting. But yeah, like you guys were saying earlier, the fact that it's an anti-hero and a bunch of villains, it's kind of like, meh.
Yeah. It's just, it runs into the problem of too many villains, and Venom's kind of a hero, but again, it feels like Spider-Man 3. We're like, oh, Spider-Man versus, and they just keep stacking them in. How many villains can we throw in one movie? I don't want to see the Sinister Six yet. So
yeah.
Well, when I first heard about Venom as a standalone movie, I just thought it was the weirdest concept I could ever I've ever heard of, trying to establish a dedicated Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. Like, how could that possibly work? And I'll be honest, I kind of liked Venom. Wasn't a great movie, but it was entertaining.
It was okay for what it was.
It was okay for what it was. But the entire time I was watching it, all I could think of is it feels like like a superhero movie that would have been made in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Basically what X-Men is. But it just the filming, just how everything progressed, it just felt like an early movie.
Almost not taking the source material seriously, like the way those early ones did.
It felt like a Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
Yep.
They didn't want to say, "Oh, he's the Punisher." And the close thing they had to
didn't even want to give him the skull.
Yeah, they gave him the skull and the end of a dagger, and that was it. And that's kind of what to me Venom felt like as I was watching. I'm like, they're just wanting to say Spider-Man at some point, but they can't. Legally, they can't. But I can see why Sony did it, because they didn't want to lose the rights. And of what the characters they had left, this was to be, the biggest name recognition. So may as well throw that iron in the fire and see if you get something out of it.
Well, apparently it was quite successful. I mean, at the very least, it got them money. So obviously enough to make it worthwhile to do a sequel.
And one thing I didn't like about this new trailer is the humor in it. Like all the jokes, especially at the beginning, it didn't land.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Really flat. That whole thing with Venom making the breakfast, and it just stop.
You do not want to start the movie off showing like a buddy comedy, like sitcom opening. That is not the way to start this thing. And I understand that the symbiote can be both a creature over top of Eddie, and also his clothing as well, so he's not completely covering him. But the effect of the tentacles coming out of the back of his house coat, and then when he's in the when it comes out of the back of the football jacket that he's wearing in the convenience store, how it comes out of the back and all that, I don't think it's the way it should be done. It should not be, because that just means that I understand Eddie Brock and Venom are always together.
Yeah. Well,
why would you choose those clothes? I mean, why?
Yeah. Well, the problem is it's Andy Serkis directing this.
I don't think that should be a problem.
No, the problem is he wants this to be the odd couple. He said that right from the get-go. He wants
really?
Venom and Eddie to be like the odd couple. And it's just like saying, I want a romance with Godzilla. I want a romance comedy with Godzilla. It's
right.
Wrong character. I mean, you may have a good concept, wrong character and genre to be trying to pull that off in.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, because like the whole entire thing starts off. The first shot you see of inside of the apartment is a pizza box with the words written "Do not eat humans" or something like that.
Yeah.
Like on the wall, taped to the wall, and the brick wall and all that. And then it cuts, and then it is the scene where Venom is making breakfast for Eddie. And yeah, it definitely, it does not look like it doesn't look like it's going to mesh very well between what should be a very like thriller-esque movie with the character of Carnage. It should be graphic and violent and dark, but you're trying to lighten it up at the very beginning. Now, if you want to make it look like a lot of time has passed, there you go. But still, I don't think you are right. This is not the couple to be making an odd couple remake in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I know that this is a derivative of the Lethal Protector storyline they did for Venom after he split off and went to San Francisco after he left New York and was done fighting Spider-Man. But part of the thing is when the trailer started, I wanted to see Eddie still struggling to be the one in charge of Venom. Maybe he's stopping a mugging or he's whatever, and Venom's taking out the two muggers, and then turns to the victim and says, well, this one looks quite tasty too, and then struggling to say, no, we've already established you don't get to eat the good, don't get to eat the non-evil people, sort of thing. I want to see that struggle, not that, hey, we're a happy couple now.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Venom's not a symbiote per se, he's a parasite.
Yeah,
he's
slowly for sure. Yes.
killing
Yeah.
Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
He's pulled it back a bit, but at the end of the day, he's by time's end, he's going to kill Eddie and have to move on.
it's not a true symbiotic relationship where both are getting, what they need out of it, and neither is being harmed. There's definite harm going on. So I kind of want to see, like Eddie still struggling to pull in some of the baser natures of the Venom symbiote or parasite, however you want to call it, and then still have that struggle while fighting Carnage. Because if he's in absolute control of himself and Venom, then the fight really, there's no, you take out an extra heightened tension in that fight against Carnage. It's like, going into a gunfight with a gun you're not 100% sure of. That, it could be like a Kimber that jams on the first bullet every time, and you reload and you're like, is it going to jam this time? I don't know. But I you can't stop fighting, so you just got to roll with it.
And that also raises the question. It's sort of like if the battle was Punisher versus Bullseye. Like, well, what's the difference between the two of them? They're both psycho killers. Well,
exactly.
Punisher happens to only kill the bad guys, and Bullseye doesn't care.
No,
right, so that would be the storyline between Venom and Carnage. That would make it really good.
Well, also Bullseye will, if you pay him to care, he'll care. Right?
Yeah. As long as the money holds.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's watching this trailer, and then did a little bit of reading of who's directing it, and then I saw this whole interview of Serkis saying he wants it to be like the Odd Couple, and it's like the Lethal Protector storyline. I'm just like, oh god, no, that's you're pulling all of the menace out of Venom at that point, and then it's like, well, it's a whoop-de-doo character.
And I think the movie trailer voice guy basically talking about it. One's a slub, fired as a reporter. The other, a carnivorous alien from space. Together, they are the very odd couple.
Yeah. One man, one parasite, the odd couple.
Yeah,
it's
there we go. You got something for the outtakes there, Troy. Just put that over top of the Venom trailer.
Perfect. For sure. I think that's actually a great idea.
I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, okay. And I did that. And that's when I saw that, Carnage is going to have a girlfriend who's going to end up being Shriek. And I'm just like, they even put it right in the, they said, is that who
that is in the end of the trailer?
Naomi Harris.
Oh.
Francis Barrington / and this is the part is they gave it away. They said / Shriek. And I'm like, really?
Son of a bitch.
That's how I was like, now
that's going to be worse than frigging female Venom in the first movie, with apparently Vanessa Williams is also returning. So yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Michelle Williams is returning.
Yeah.
Reed Scott is the doctor, the boyfriend. But it was just the fact that they spoiled the character by saying, oh, she's Shriek as well. But also the fact that they said, oh, well, having one symbiote against Venom is enough. Let's have two. Like, why?
I kind of lost the plot with Marvel once they started introducing all of like the Shriek and all of the rest of the symbiotes from the symbiote planet.
Oh, you're talking the actual comic itself.
The actual comic.
I mean, they did it in the cartoon as well, and it was just it's just that flat wah wah trombone sound.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to share a screen. This is the only thing I ever wanted to see from this. Are you guys seeing that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, yeah. So the first appearance of Venom, where he's, just give me that shot.
Good old McFarlane.
Movie. I know. Yeah.
Good old McFarlane. You cannot. Oh, look at that body frame. Oh my god.
Like, how could you not have that as the very first scene of the Venom movie?
Yeah.
If you're gonna have one.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're on the second Venom movie and we still haven't had this moment, it makes me really sad.
That and like that, those frames at the bottom with the hands and the smacking and pulling back, and then more of a symbiote, and then completely into the suit sort of thing. Just
yeah.
Oh
well.
Yeah.
When they reboot Spider-Man for yet another time. But
yeah, so I was initially, when I saw the trailer, I was like, maybe, and then as the trailer went on, I was just like, no. And by the end, I was just like, why? And then, as I said, I decided to do my diligent research and regretted every minute of it. And then again, I mean, I personally, Andy Serkis, he's a great performer.
Yeah.
But when he made that comment of he was Gollum 100%. They didn't need any animators. And then when you watch the special features of like, all the Lord of the Rings, the first movie, they basically said all they could use of Andy's performance was for reference. They couldn't actually use it.
Yeah.
And then by the second movie, they kind of had figured some stuff out, but still took a whole slew of animators to take his performance and elevate it up. And then when he was giving that interview saying, he's Gollum and it was all him, and I'm just like, you just shit on 30 plus people. That looks real big. And then he, for Planet of the Apes had said they didn't need animators because he's that good. Well, funny, you look at the movie and you look at the credits and there's a shit ton of animators listed there.
Yeah.
These guys must have just been being paid to sit in front of a screen and play Minesweeper or something. I mean, I lost all respect for the man when he said crap like that. Like you don't crap on the people who are making you look good. That's just so. And I don't know. How many movies has he directed, Circus? Like
three or four? Yeah.
And can I think of any that are actually good?
Well, I really enjoyed his take on the Jungle Book was actually pretty good. I think it's because it was different than the Disney version, which was kind of nice. And I think the way that, because it was again all his type of stuff, it was all motion capture of the animals and whatnot. I mean, the actors doing, because I think he had the actors moving around pretending to be the animals as well while doing stuff like that. But yeah,
I didn't see his version. I saw the Favreau version, and that one was pretty good.
Yeah, no, the Favreau version, because it's a little more, it's a lot more closer to the actual original Disney version. And the voices are a little more recognizable in the Disney version. But as soon as you're pointed out, like, hey, this is this doing this voice, I'm like, oh yeah, now I can hear it, sort of thing. But I do like one thing that it actually says twice during the trailers, that it points out the fact that it is only coming to theaters.
Yeah.
The first one about halfway through is this year, only in theaters.
Yeah.
And at the
because
end,
we don't have a streaming service. It's
No.
Yeah, pretty much. Sony's like, we have nowhere
Yeah.
to stream to that
we have
viable for
exactly.
us.
Well, they could if they made nice with Disney.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
Well, they did
Sort
make
of did.
Yeah, they sort of did make nice, yes. But yeah, and the trailer ends with coming soon, only in movie theaters. So yeah, it's.
Well, I'm halfway comfortable to sitting in a theater with other people now.
I mean, I at this point I could care less. There was only a small group of movies that I would go see in the theater. Like, I don't need to see a comedy in the theater. I really don't need to see a drama in the theater.
No,
It's
still
only
waiting
things
for Dune.
big visual. I would need to put. I mean, now I've got a 70+ inch TV. I got a really good sound system. I can pause the movie. I can get the snacks I want without, having to mortgage the house to pay for them.
And you can pee without having to wipe off the seat.
Yeah, I mean, I like the movie experience. I like going when there's a crowd of people and stuff like that, but it's not the driving force. I don't have to. So yeah, I mean, in theater, out of theater, either way, if I want to see it, I'll see it, sort of thing. But yeah, it's I just remember at the start of the whole pandemic when oh god, what was it? Trolls World Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And the head of the theater association basically threatened Universal and said, we won't forget this. And right now, theater association is bleeding money. They're scrambling. They're praying to God that with enough vaccinations, they can open up theaters into, full go and get some money again. But, I look at it as enough movies have been put to streaming services that the various production companies have realized this is viable. This works. Because instead of, for every $10 only seeing about $1.50, $2 for the box office, if someone pays $30 for the film, they see all $30. They get it. So like when Disney has when they release Black Widow next month on their streaming service, and they charge $30 for a premium viewing, and people are paying it, they're getting all 30. Like Disney's getting all $30 in their pocket.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah,
I'll be honest. I'm probably going to drop $30 on it. I want to see it.
I'm going to invite a couple of friends over, and that's more than we would have paid for tickets alone. Not even concessions. I'm like, that's fine.
I'm going to charge each one of my kids $5 and charge them $10 for popcorn.
Exactly. You made your money. Just have a pop fund going, 50 cents a pop. You'll be great.
That's about $300, isn't that, Mike?
That's about right.
How many kids do you have?
How many kids? Yeah, with all those kids, yeah, it's about $300
All
for
of
a
them.
movie. That's
Yeah.
all of them. I myself, for speaking of Black Widow, I am hoping, because of the July 9th, is it? Yeah, July release date. I'm hoping at the very least, like, I don't want to go into the movie theaters in July, because if the theaters are open in July, it'll be minimum. I mean, it'll still not be, but I will definitely go see this at a drive-in. I will make a. I mean, I don't have that far to go to a drive-in, but yeah, I will definitely see this. I'm sorry, not this, as in Venom 2. I will definitely want to see it on a big screen. I mean, sure, I'll probably also have it on Disney Plus, because we share an account with another couple, and we've been doing all the premium movies. We did Mulan when it came out. We did Raya and the Last Dragon. I think those are the only two that we did.
We're doing Cruella at the end of the month, so
this is like the old school thing of going to see a movie in the movie theater and then sneaking in to see the second one.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But
yeah, I really like theaters. I mean, there's two really good theaters here in Albany. We have an IMAX theater that plays a lot of first run, and then we have the RPX, which have big screen, big sound, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But for me to go to the theater in the RPX theater is $15 for the ticket. Concessions at least another 10 if I get a small popcorn and small drink. And if it's a long movie, a small drink's not going to last me. So I'm like,
Biggie size it for like 25 cents.
Yeah. It's for 25 cents. Do you want the super jumbo extra? And it's like, what? Well, you have the live. That's a small, and then we have the medium, and then we'll get the large, but we'll have to have two strong men carry it to your seat for you.
But it's $5. It's $5 for the.
I'm going to save
butter.
a bit of money and have the vat of Coke.
Yeah. I'm going to have the bathtub of popcorn. Would you like the hot tub sizer? Yeah. So it's
Comes its own bubbles.
I can take or leave going to the movies. It's more of the people I go with that makes
for
it a
sure
memorable experience.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And it is the communal thing, the group of friends going out there having fun. Like, everyone's supposed to be quiet during the movie, but they don't, and that's part of the fun. Whispering and like, oh, did you see that? Or like, what was that? Or something like that. Or hearing one of your friends like, what's going on? I mean, like that's.
Whereas if I go to the other side of this wall where the TV is, I can have a couple friends over, some beer, pizza, that's it. Just to me, it's a no-brainer, really. And my seats are more comfortable than the ones in a theater. So,
well, except for the new VIP places that I've been to, they've
No,
got
mine's
full
still
reclining, vibrating, warm seat warmers.
Oh, the D-Box, the ones that vibrate, or well, I don't know if it's called D-Box out in Vancouver.
Oh, this doesn't vibrate to the movie. That's
just
no. But it actually has seat warmers.
I mean, I can say the only problem with watching the movie out there, sometimes you have to fight off the cats. That's about it.
You gotta say it, Troy.
Okay,
you're about to say what I'm thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Why are your seats heated in Vancouver?
I'd rather
Gavin?
People.
Seriously, your VIP seats are warming.
Consider the typical rent in Vancouver.
Yeah,
and consider the typical people who can pay, who can afford that kind of rent. What kind of comforts would they be willing to pay for?
Well, it's probably when you're dropping trow and sitting on the built-in toilet, you don't want your butt cheeks to get cold. So,
oh, fair enough. Okay,
let's
good
just
point.
say I'm sitting on the right chair.
Okay, then. All right.
I'll have the extra bidet option, please.
All right.
We are so getting canceled.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Before we even get off the ground.
So I guess that about wraps it up for trailers and all that.
What were we talking about, Venom?
I think we were talking about Venom.
How did Venom turn into the toilet seat option?
I don't know.
We called it the tangent hour.
Yep, exactly. but we're still meh on seeing Venom 2, correct?
I mean, I'll wait to see if there's a second trailer, but I doubt that's going to, change my opinion.
Yeah. No.
That's the kind of movie where I'm very curious to see what happens. If Venom was the same thing. That's one I didn't see in theaters, but once it was on streaming, I was curious to see what it was all about. Thought it was kind of interesting. This is kind of falls in the same camp where I haven't seen enough to make me want to dump a lot of money to see it, but I will skip through it if it's interesting enough.
I want to see it, but I'm not willing to pay a lot of money for it.
If someone else pays for me, I might go.
Yeah. So we got until, what is it? It's November. What is it? When is it, guys? It is going to be, oh, wait, it says coming soon in this trailer. This trailer doesn't have an actual release date.
Actually,
September 24th.
Considering that Amanda and I have probably
September 24th.
September.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, because it was supposed to come out last October. It was supposed to be last October. That's where my October was going to say. It was supposed to be last October, but they put it right. Okay, there we go. Okay, off of that. Okay, so one of the other comic book oriented subject matter that's out there right now is Netflix's Jupiter's Legacy, which of course was released last Friday. Dropped all the episodes all at once because it's Netflix. We've been mulling our way through it. A couple of us have gone through the whole entire thing. I myself have just dipped my toes in the first couple of episodes, and Mike's done some extracurricular stuff, being the he would be the non-Netflixian here. So I'm just going to start by saying, from what I saw from the trailer, it is what I'm getting in the series. It's very visually entertaining. The cast is fantastic. I've only seen the first 2 episodes. The world is very like for them building a universe this early without anything else. They're doing a fantastic job with this universe building or world building or wherever it is. And like I said,
and Mark Miller did a great job of that in the comics as well.
There you go. So yeah, because again, like Mike just said, this is Mark Miller's baby to begin with. Is one of his Netflix deals that he got paid billions and billions and billions of dollars to develop a bunch of work and all that. And this is the first one out of the gate for him. And like I said, what I've seen, I'm really enjoying it. Now that being said, some of it, like Trevor had said last week, it looks very television superhero special effectsy. There is which is kind of unfortunate. You can, for example, there's a fight sequence where the whole entire team of superheroes fights one guy, and just the look of it, the camera swinging around and the way people are holding their bodies and all that, it looks green screened up the wazoo. It is but counter to that, if someone like shoots out a laser blast and, again, spoiler alert, someone gets blasted, cut in half, that looks fantastic. The extra special effects looks like the special effects looks really cool, and everything looks really neat. Their motion blur, I think, needs a little, like when someone suddenly decides to stand still and then shoot up into the air, that effect gets tiresome really quick, because it definitely, it's a very hard to, it's like driving with the parking brake on. It's definitely, but that aside,
I'm just a quick thing. It felt like they did the effect the exact same way that was done on the TV show Heroes. Like it was
that's
the exact.
That is
same.
Exactly it. Yes.
It's like they looked at that as reference and went, "Stop drilling. We've already struck oil. Let's use it."
That's right.
Heroes.
That's where I'd seen that effect before. Yes, Heroes. Exactly. That is definitely it. But again, the story is very intriguing. The characters are fantastic to follow. the costumes are amazing. I did a little bit of research too and looked at a bit of the comic as well and all that. And the translation from page to screen is really cool. And I'm really enjoying what I've seen of it. I'll definitely watch the rest of them. But but the green screen fight sequence, which is kind of funny because then I saw a behind the scenes sequence and it is that. It's the superhero characters and nothing but green screen. We are talking Star Wars Episode 2. There's no sets. It's all green screens and X's and things on like tennis balls on sticks and guys running around in green suits holding poles that the actors are strapped into, which also explains why some of the flying sequences are so stiff. But again, please do not think of this as a thing against it. I know that you have certain limitations when you do something such huge epic as trying to turn a comic book into a live action series. I mean,
I cannot wait until all the other studios start getting like the Mandalorian virtual sets.
Yes,
I was just
Like
thinking
that makes all the difference.
it does. Well, it felt, I mean, that whole fight sequence, the lighting did not match the background they put them in.
no.
And instantly that separated them from the, everything. But then it felt there was times where characters were lit differently than the person standing beside them.
Yes.
It's obviously, well, not obviously, but it felt like they had filmed each person individually as opposed to, let's get everyone on set.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, let's light this. I mean, the suit looked great with this lighting, but let's shift it here. And without saying, by the way, in the set, we need the sun there, and that's going to be the key light for lighting everything. They're like, no, we're going to put it here and the light on the can. And so there was a scene where there's like four of the characters on the screen, and everyone has different lighing.
It
And
feels
you
to me
can
like it was
almost see the stitch lines where they cut them out of the green screen and just kind of layered them one on top of the other. And it's just like, oh no. I mean, this looked like, high school After Effects level of compositing, and it was just like, ugh.
It feels like it's kind of it was a casualty of like COVID apocalypse.
It could have been that, but it's just, I think it was, they were, they had definitely have a schedule they have to do to get this stuff out. And when I think as a director, especially as like an FX director, you get this scene dropped in your lap and you're like, I need to break this down. I still have to follow COVID rules. Even if it was filmed pre-COVID, you're like, I still have to be able to get the footage shot so that I can get this out to the different effects houses to get this stuff done, so I can get the shot back in time. So yeah,
But Troy, you said you saw behind the scenes, did you?
Yeah, there's actually I follow the Weekly Planet, which is another podcast that I listen to that does pretty much the exact same thing that we do, but in one of their videos about them talking about this series on their YouTube channel, they had this whole entire fight sequence,
the hilltop
battle behind the scenes footage and all that, and it basically every single thing is green screen and all that.
Did they have all the actors on set together or no?
Now it's compiled from different, like, it's not one long shot and all that sort of thing. So it's like a behind the scenes thing. They have like they have people walking over wearing masks, talking, like the director talking to the actors or them setting up a shot and all that. You see a lot of the camera. It's like some of it is from far back, but I did not see a complete sequence where it looked like every single one of the superheroes that is involved in that scene is actually on this set. And what it is, it's a giant, what looks like a parking lot with a giant green wall. And so I just looked it up, and the character that they're fighting in the movie, in the show, in the sequence that we're talking about, is his name is Darkstar, and he is played by Canadian actor Tyler. Oh, I just lost his name. Tyler Mane, who
was the first Sabretooth.
Who was the first Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie. Little
side note: my wife's best friend did the costume for Taylor Mane for that movie.
Oh, she
designed the costume, and she,
Oh, really?
She's a fashion designer
For
and,
Sabretooth.
That is cool.
Yeah, Sabretooth.
That is really cool.
You should definitely get a costume made for yourself, Trevor. That would be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I probably couldn't
Cool.
afford her rates.
If you'd like to see Trevor wearing a Sabretooth outfit, please donate to Patreon.
No. You have to donate a lot. Patreon.
So the cool thing about it is, which is kind of neat, is that Tyler Mane himself is like 6'8" tall. So I think the next closest is I want to say Joshua, but I'm waiting for this stupid screen to reload because I should have. Josh Duhamel. Yes, thank you. I was right. Josh Duhamel. And according to IMDb, his height seems to be at around the. Anyone want to take a guess how tall?
6'2".
It's probably 6'2", 6'3".
He
Actually, no.
is.
5'11".
I was just gonna say 5'11". No, he himself is 6'4" tall.
Oh. Well.
So technically, he was definitely a lot shorter than Darkstar.
Yeah.
So more than likely, Tyler is superimposed to larger, which
Yeah.
again,
He's supposed to be like 8 foot plus.
yeah,
tall.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Now I have a couple of I've got that little behind the scenes thing, and I'm noticing things like when Utopian's character fires off his bright blue eye lasers.
Mm-hmm.
In the close-up scene, Utopian's face is lit up, like he is illuminated by his own eye lasers.
Yeah.
But the scene previous, no illumination.
Yeah. It looks like they've just basically, here, you guys work on the effects for this shot, you guys work on the effects for this shot, because we have to do this really quickly.
Yeah, and the thing is I can understand that. I'm not going to hold it against the show because I've worked on shows. You have a schedule you have to follow. Deadlines are carved in stone. There is no budging them.
Yeah.
So you just do what you got to do, and you hit that level of acceptable. It may not be perfect, but it's acceptable. It's out the door because you already have the next shot rolling in.
Yes, exactly. Also,
I've got a question for you guys. Oh, sorry, Troy.
No, go ahead. No, go, Mike.
Since you guys have seen the show, this is a frame from the comic, and I was just wondering if this happens in the series.
Throw it up there. Come on, share screen. Let's see it.
So, oh shoot, what's the guy's name? The bad guy, the brother of the main character. He can.
The guy who gets in your minds.
Okay, that was a spoiler right there.
Does this moment ever happen?
Yes.
In
yes,
the
it
series?
does.
Where you
It
go
does.
into his mindscape and it's like a beach.
Does it look like this? Where it goes in? So
You know
basically,
what?
the panel in the comic book is it's multiple squares for the podcast listeners. Where the center square looks like a regular comic, inked and colored, and then as it phases back, it goes into more penciled and rough colors, and then the farthest square, it's all just the hand drawing and blue line pencils.
I wish I could say yes, but no, it doesn't get to. I mean, they do some neat effect, but it's not as.
Yeah, it's like little pixels kind of populating and suddenly appearing around, and then it solidifies into the reality that he's projecting.
Because this moment in the comic book is he was being trapped into this guy's psychic painting. So this is like a work of art he was creating in his mind. And I was so hoping to see this moment in the series because that could be really cool.
It does technically actually happen, but he refers to it as, what does he refer to it as? I can't remember what he refers to it as, but yeah, it is something that he's created. He calls it the world that he's created. He's not floating in it and all that just because it's an extra effect that they don't really need to have to do. But yeah, he's standing there, he's confused, he's standing on a beach side and whatnot. And yeah, so I mean,
hey Mike, take a look at this. There's share screen. Oh, so you have to stop sharing yours.
Yep.
All right. Boom.
You have the bridge number 1.
All right. So do you see that?
Yes.
That's him in his mindscape.
Okay.
So it's a nice beach, but it's basically, he says, here I'm God. So you can't, he goes to grab him and he says, you can't because here I'm God.
One thing I'll say with the casting is all the characters look like they're Frank Quietly drawings.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
They
And
did it
that's
really well.
amazing casting and makeup and everything else.
That's the part that I was really impressed by, because a lot of the cast are fairly young, but the aged makeup holds up. It holds up really well. You're like, I can see how this, how this guy would look like when he's older. The brother shocked me when I saw the young version and realized that's the real actor.
Right.
Oh, you mean Ben Daniels? Ben Daniels? Yeah.
You see with the age makeup, and we're like, I thought that's what the actor looked like, and then I looked him up. And I'm like, holy crap, that's some good makeup.
I didn't really, because he's not in the trailer as well. You don't know between the trailer because you can't tell the difference between. But yeah, when he started talking as the old guy, as whatever his character's name is,
Brainwave.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
I was like, wait, is that Ben Daniels? Because I've seen him do other things and all that. But yeah, so then when I realized it was him in the old makeup, I'm like, oh my God, that's fantastic makeup. And then they do a shot of them back in the 40s and all that. And one of the other things that I really, really enjoyed about the series so far is the changing of the aspect ratio when it comes to the eras of, because the series takes place at different time periods. It does the present day, and then it goes back to before everyone had their powers back in at the beginning of the Great Depression and whatnot. Yeah, and 29. Yes, that's right. Yes, and yeah, when it jumps back and forth, it starts off with the super letterbox sort of superhero thing, and as it goes back in time, it raises up to fill your whole entire screen. But of course, you're watching on a rectangular screen, so you're still getting a widescreen version of it. But it's really cool how it.
Yeah, it keeps changing the aspect ratio depending on.
Yeah,
and it's a nice way to tell the viewer, what era you're supposed to be in. Also,
if you weren't paying attention,
all the stuff that happens in the past is slightly desaturated, so it feels different.
The colors, the colors aren't as sharp either. Yeah, which is kind of
the whole when he's walking through the towns, and it's like it's very brown, very dry, very dusty. I mean, that's actually accurate. They didn't just like film like an old timey kind of like town area and call it this is the 30s. They actually made it look like it was dry, because in the 30s, the Great Depression, a lot of things that contributed. One of the things was agriculture was failing because of this massive drought.
Yeah.
So with that dust that was kind of blowing through things, that's accurate.
Yeah. Well, I think what set that sort of thing into motion is what I'm not going to say it originated with it, but I think the thing that made it look like it had to happen was HBO's Watchmen series. How accurate to them portraying the period of time that they had to, even though again, Watchmen happens in a slightly altered present day, but the fact that it originated from a history that we share with the Watchmen universe, and how accurate it was to portraying the stuff that happened back then, and how everyone going this step forward has to realize, okay, this is what we have to do. So if the MCU decides to do anything in the past now, they have to make sure they hit their mark perfectly. Like if they ever do a Hank Pym storyline where he goes back to Vietnam on that, or if they do friggin' what's his face? The black super soldier that we were introduced to in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's only been 2 weeks and now I can't think of any names. Oh no,
my brain. Black Captain America in the show.
Well, no, they called him a super soldier with that happened to be black. Come on, Trevor, you know names.
Who, Isaiah?
Thank you. You son of a bitch. You held on to that. You saw me sweating and you decided to.
It's no fun until you see the sweat come down the head.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they ever do his story, they're going to have to make sure that they get that history as precise as it can be, because the because if the audiences decide to use it as a reference to history, it's got to be exact, or it will not feel like it's our world. So, anywho, Mr. Brown posed a question to us earlier in the week, and you want to post it for bring it up and
Oh God.
talked
All right.
about how, well, just for the audience listening, then it was basically
So this in Jupiter's Legacy, they talk about the code. The code, and the code is never lead. So they can't like take over a country and lead it just because they have superpowers, but inspire instead. So be inspiring, make people want to be better. But the biggest part of the code is never kill. If a hero is faced with a situation where they have to take a life or lose their life, they're supposed to, take one for the team and get killed rather than take a life. So, I was just like, oh God, I'd probably fail at being a hero in that universe. So I came up with this, potential situation. So you are a hero of some kind, maybe even you follow the code or whatnot. And you see a group of three, like a group of three separate groups of people coming together for some sort of deal. At that moment, you're given like a big flash of insight, be it you can see newspapers in front of your head, but you're given extra information you normally wouldn't receive. And this is the information that you're given. That Group A, members of the Howling Monkey motorcycle gang, they're paying for a large quantity of uncut drugs. When they return to their clubhouse, the drugs will be cooked and bagged, sold on the street. The problem is the gang's chemist is using contaminated tools, and the drugs will probably kill 50 to 60 people by the end of the week. Group 2 is the Shining Light militant sect. They're buying military firearms. Tomorrow, they're going to get into a shootout with the police in the parking lot of a strip mall. A daycare operating out of that strip mall will be letting out their students at the same time. Fatalities will include 4 mothers, 7 children, all under the age of 5. Wounded people will be somewhere in the mid-20s to 30s. Group C is the deal maker. This is a guy named Archibald Jones. He's a mid-level mob accountant who fudges the ledger so he can acquire money and material for his own purposes. The money he's making from this deal will finance the abduction of twin girls of a local wealthy industrialist. When the FBI involvement turns the deal sour, the girls will be sold into an international sex slave ring. The rest of their 10-year-old girls' short lives will be ones of agony, torture, and ignoble death. Now, you have several choices. You can't get back up in time. The deals happen, they're splitting up. You can take out one of the 3 groups, but you can't like take out one and trail another. You only have enough time to follow one and take them down. Or you could attack right now and take out all 3 groups at once, but your power set means you would have to kill them. There's no way you can disable all 3 groups or even enough of them to stop the deal. So what do? Do you break the code and kill? Do you take out one group? And if you do, which group is the one you take out? That's your dilemma. So do you stay a hero? Do you become the anti-hero? Or do you say, screw it, I'm going to be a villain. I'm going to kill them all. I'm going to take everything for my own. What do you do?
I have a question. What are your superpowers?
That's just it. It's whatever power you have, whatever your power set is, it would be enough to disable one group only, unless you notch it up and decide to go for, instead of disabling shots, you go for lethal shots. Then you'd have enough time to kill everyone in all 3 groups. But if you just go for disables, the other 2 groups are going to get away. You don't have enough time to put, because they're going in different directions, you don't have enough time to run around and throw trackers on vehicles. You don't know exactly when these events are happening. Other than the effect of the shootout at the daycare the next day, you don't know when or where the drugs are going. Could be the next city over, could be your city. You don't know where the daycare is, and you don't know which industrialist and which twin girls. You don't have enough time to, stop all 3 crimes unless you kill all the members involved first. Then you would stop those 3 particular crimes.
Okay, so do you yourself have a solution to this, Trevor, or are you just like,
oh hell no?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I've put a lot of thought into it. I'm like, if up to that point you are following this code of don't lead, inspire, and never kill. Because things, once you step over that line, you never get to step back. It's like Superman taking a life. Once he does, he's no longer the Boy Scout. It's like Batman taking life, the thing he's promised to, except for the movie version of Batman. The comic Batman will always try to never take a life. Same thing, a lot of the various heroes never take a life. And then you get to Punisher, who's like, can't take lives fast enough. So yeah, that's where the
Only
dilemma
bad
comes.
guys' lives.
Yeah.
Speaking
So-
of Punisher, because this kind of ties in, have you guys read the Punisher Max series by Garth Ennis?
Yes, I have.
That is phenomenal.
The closest I ever saw to that on the screen was Punisher Warzone, but even then, still held back. Like they still even though we can get an R rating, we're going to get an NC-17 rating if we go that far.
Yeah, we got a glimpse of it in Daredevil season 2, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's
When was this published, Mike?
Oh, geez. I don't know.
We're talking
Luckily,
a
I
while ago.
have
Though.
Google.
We're not.
It's
we're,
been a while.
Okay, it's not. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
This is when the first when Marvel Max first came out. Punisher led the way.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So yeah, we're talking. Oh hell. Wow. Yeah, a while ago.
March 2004.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
17 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
So I have one more question for you, Trevor, as far as your little challenge here. You have foresight and information over each 3 situations.
You know what the event that this group is going to do, but you don't know where, you don't know when. You just know this is what they will result if they get away from you now. This is going to be the result.
Okay, gotcha. Who's going to go first?
Okay, so the only way that you can ascertain that all 3 situations will not come to fruition is if you wipe out all
You
3
take a
groups
bunch of lives.
right this very second.
Right this very
Take
second.
out, yes, it's the only option to take out
only
to
option.
stop them.
I have an answer, but I think Trevor's going to say I'm using a cheat code. But
Nope.
so somebody go first.
Really? A cheat code, huh?
Yeah.
I would have to say that if I were to, okay, because I'm going to go with the fact that I hold on to the information that I have forethought of the other 2 groups. Like if I'm going to take out the one group now, if I'm going to stop them right now, I still retain the information about the other 2 and hope to relay that information to someone else later on, right? Okay. So chances are they're probably still going to happen the way they're going to happen, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and stop the school shooting group. It is whatever my abilities are, that's the one that I'm going to go for. I am not advocating for child slavery and all that, and I'm not advocating for drug use and whatnot. But the drug use.
So you're still a heroic character. That's good.
Yes, exactly. It's the massacre part that I think my morals are going to try and stop. It's the massacre of the schools and whatever results from that. The very least one is, I'm sorry to say it, the people that are going to take drugs are going to take drugs, and if those people take the drugs and die even sooner, I'm sorry, that's not really sort of in this situation. That's one of the reasons why I'm not choosing that one.
Okay.
The 2 kids, again, like I said, I'm not advocating this, but it is 2 children as compared to a school of and adults and all that. One of the things that I will do is try and make sure that those 2 kids, if I can later on, relay the information to one of my buddies on my superhero team or another, like my buddy at like the detective that used to be against me, but then I saved his sister's life and now he confides in me and I confide in him, sort of thing. I'm going to get him the information that, hey, because I know it's going to happen, but just that sort of thing, right?
Okay.
So the one my powers right now, I'm going to stop, I guess, Group B from. It's the weapons, right? That's the weapons one, right? Yeah. So I'm going, because it also means less weapons on out there in the open sort of thing. I can round up that sort of thing. So
Right.
that's what my choice is. I'm going for Group B and trying to keep the code intact as much as possible. So that's what I'm doing.
Gavin, what are you doing?
Punisher skull, absolutely.
Well, pretty sure I would basically let the Punisher guy, Punisher type guy, know about the situation and let
Well,
him
that's
deal
just
with
it.
it.
You don't have time. When you're looking down at that sort of thing, it's you. You don't have time to call anyone in. So
Yeah.
Oh,
what do
okay.
you
Maybe
do?
I misunderstood that.
You
part.
would be the Punisher
Gavin is
guy
the
in this
Punisher.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's,
Okay.
In this situation, you would be
Lock
the
and
Punisher
load.
guy.
Okay. And I am absolutely positive, absolutely certain that all of these unfortunate events will happen
yes.
if I only do one action.
If you stop one group,
versus
the other two groups will still
taking
go
them all
ahead.
out.
Yeah, it'll still pan out the way it goes.
How many bodies would he drop, Trevor? Look at all the bad guys.
Lock and load.
Okay, so Gavin's going for the now. Are you going for the anti-hero Punisher? Just kill them all, get the stuff off the streets, or are you going the villain route and taking all that stuff for yourself?
I would do the vigilante route and destroy what's harmful and keep whatever I can as my resources.
All right, so Mike, let's hear the cheat code. Up,
Right,
up,
so
down, left, right.
Yeah,
left,
so
right,
my
right,
answer is
right.
pretty much the same as what Troy was saying. So for the school shooting situation, that's the one where it seems like the biggest amount of casualties.
Yeah.
And there's not much that can be done otherwise. So you could take the libertarian route. It's okay, military sect is buying guns. Okay, fine. Right. That's like, the empire is saying that there's a group of rebels out there buying arms. So, well, maybe the government's the bad guys in this situation. We don't know. Right. But the fact that it's going to be an arms shootout in front of a school with a bunch of kids getting massacred, that's enough to jump in with a super suit and try and save the day and protect as many innocent people as possible. Now, as far as the foresight goes with the drug situation, that's one where I would call up Commissioner Gordon on the phone, say, hey, I just had the psychic vision. Let's get the cops to put the wire down in the neighborhood and stop this Breaking Bad situation. We can try and save some lives, but otherwise they're
But the
making
thing
a
is,
choice.
You don't know that it's your city that's going to take place in. I mean, these guys could be transporting it halfway across the country and it happens in Butthole, Idaho. You don't know. You don't know if that's like all three of these situations. You don't know if it's going to be local or out of your normal jurisdiction.
Right, so I'll do the Bruce Wayne thing. I'll make a large donation to get kids off drugs, and we'll see if that works.
All right.
So
And
a
what do you do about
multi-billion-dollar donation to get kids off drugs for that one.
And what do you do with the twin girls?
Okay, so because we know who the guy is,
You don't know who it is. All you know is it's a local wealthy industrialist, but how local is local?
I thought we had the name.
Well, no, you
No.
said
Archibald Jones.
No, you know who.
So I
you know
will.
who the fixer is. You know who he is.
He's the
but
deal
you
maker.
don't know about the deal that he's made to
okay.
do this money.
Okay, so what we'll do is we will get Robin to go track down Archibald Jones.
All right.
So we
what
will
if the
track
money's
him
already-
down,
what
and
if
we will
that
freeze
deal's
all the
already
mob
set?
accounts. What?
Yeah, but what if that deal's already set? Like he's just getting the money to pay off the kidnappers, but they've already got that particular plan in motion.
My psychic vision said that the money he will make from the deal will go to finance the abduction, which tells me I have a couple days time. So I'm gonna make the chance, roll the dice to see that I can get to him in the next day after the school shooting. But I will get my sidekick to look into that one.
All right.
All right. So do you
Well,
need to do it accurately with this, or
Sure.
Up, down, left, right, left, right.
left, right.
BA start. After hearing all three of your opinions, I'm probably going to go pretty close to Gavin's side. I'm going to chuck the code at this point, just because all three situations are pretty bad.
Trevor, so taking those drugs?
Well, what I'm probably going to do is I'll safely dispose of the drugs. I will use the guns, and I will definitely use the money. And the thing is the money at that point is going to have to be used to hide me from the rest of my former code following cohorts who are probably
Yeah, because see, that's the one. See, I was thinking, you know what? I'll do friggin' Lex Luthor here. I'll basically I'll do like a Kingpin sort of thing. I will
Yeah.
wipe out the bad guys and take everything for myself. But then I realized, okay,
Yeah. You
prior
just-
to this
when you cross
situation,
the line-
I'm part of I'm a part of a super team. I am part of the
Yeah.
Justice League. I am Spider-Man and his amazing friends sort of character.
And now
and
your
all that.
amazing friends are after you.
Yeah, exactly. And that I don't think I'd want to be running the rest of my life from
See, I think
superheroes.
for me personally, I would use that time to, now it's time to change code names, change costumes. I have some cash to do so.
I know someone who made the Sabretooth outfit.
He
I
is no
can
longer
totally
the
gear up.
Punisher. He
Yes,
is the
exactly.
admonisher.
Yes, the strict admonisher. You shouldn't do that.
Well, wait, what? Wait.
Did you know about this? Uncle Freddy's gonna be in Stranger Things? Did you know?
I did not know. I've been avoiding stuff for Stranger Things.
Okay, well,
Apparently,
Criminal
Robert.
Minds, and it made me all happy. So.
Apparently, Robert Englund is going to be in the 4th season of Stranger Things.
He's really sweet.
Oh, that would explain why he's
really
on.
sweet.
The Dream Warrior.
That probably means why he was on Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You.
This is actually what I was trying to show you.
Okay, you were trying to show me something that wasn't Robert Englund. What the?
I'm dying. I'm dying. You get it, right? You have to show
Okay, how do I? Okay.
Show it to my Facebook profile. Can I share it to my Facebook profile? Okay, I'm gonna share it to my Facebook profile. You tell them.
All right.
Blank me
Yeah,
again.
no, I didn't blank you at all. We're
Okay.
still recording.
I'll tag them.
I'll go over here.
Adrian wants a
We have
cameo.
podcast.
It's yes,
Cameo.
Yeah, 5th member,
Adrian's the first member.
the
Yeah.
wacky sidekick. Adrian's basically the person I'd send after the fixer.
You'd send after
Yeah,
the
The
fixer.
wacky
Yeah.
fixer. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds
Oh, my
about right.
face hurts.
Okay, let's go to Adrian. And then I'll bring up the picture and then I'll screen share this
All right.
to you guys. If it-
So while you're doing that, yeah, I came up
Yeah.
with a scenario just to see like what would it take for you to break a code of, don't kill. Would there be a situation where you'd be like, all right,
Okay.
and I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched the whole series, but something arises.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if we get anything. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's go back to this and let's
All right.
screen
Giggle Fest
share,
5000 engage.
screen share this image. Share. You guys see all this?
Oh boy. Oh god. 309.
There you go. Trevor got it right away.
Oh, Tommy Two Tone. Oh.
I don't think there's anything poor about this guy. It's like he's got no shirt on, Adrian. He's got a gold chain on and a tattoo on his shoulder.
Well, then why
This guy's-
isn't he? Then he obviously can afford implants. So why
But
is he walking around
because
like
he's put it
this?
into his plugs. He's put all his money into his plugs in his ears. Ugh.
He must be an American.
He
They're
might
So
be
American.
getting canceled.
No,
still getting
Here we
canceled,
go. Just lost our funding.
yeah. We just lost our funding. They just said.
remember one time
We're
Details
demonetized as of
magazine
now.
called all of the phone numbers from all of the songs in
Yes.
all of the area codes.
Yeah. Yeah.
People were not happy with them.
Yeah, we just lost our monetization.
All right. So basically we end up with 2 supervillains and 2 heroes
Yep.
in this
Not
situation.
supervillains,
We're not super
anti-heroes.
Could be anti-hero. I'm not going the villain route. I'm not actively going after to fight the heroes. But at this point, I'm no longer treating the villains with kid gloves. I'm
Like,
not gonna
two of
put a
my
revolving
favorite-
door.
Two of my favorite comic book characters were always Spider-Man and the Punisher, right?
Mhm.
And those are like the 2 different routes you take. Now, the Spider-Man route definitely is the most noble in my mind because it's, you don't want to kill.
Yeah.
Even Batman, the comic book version, does this. Naruto does this in the series, which is amazing because there's such a strong will to try and make things right, where when you do that, it's like Luke Skywalker, even though he blew up billions of people on the Death Star. Let's not worry about that. But the fact that he was able to turn Darth Vader back from the dark side to the good side, like that's an impossible act. So anything like that is really cool. In Naruto's series, he's constantly turning these guys who are the most psycho villains back to the good side, and they become allies. Like in the Boruto series, Orochimaru, who's like one of the big villains in the original Naruto series, now he's this guy off on his own. He's got a full like military watch to make sure he doesn't get up to any trouble, but he's just doing his research and providing intelligence to the Hidden Leaf, right? So that's the hero I would aspire to be. Barring that, I would put on the skull and take him out Punisher Max style.
Yeah.
Okay, fine then. Fine. So if in the alternate universe I'd be the only one going supervillain, because I chose either a Kingpin or a Lex Luthor to.
And you're only doing that because you get caught beaten up by your friends.
Yeah.
So really, Troy's the ultimate villain. He's like President Lex Luthor. It's like, guys, really, I'm a good guy.
When I first read this scenario that Trevor put out, I'm like, would I go the Lex Luthor? Would I go like the President Luthor route? Would I like be like
Pardon yourself?
What?
You become president, you pardon your past crimes.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? I'm president. I can do that, right? The president can pardon himself, right? Yeah, of course he can.
No, he can't.
He can absolve himself of his previous crimes, right?
No.
I became president. I've obviously been absolved of my previous crimes. There's no way I would be president if I didn't.
We just ran through that cycle down here.
No. I know you ran through that cycle, Trevor.
But you can become president, abdicate, and let the vice president then give you your pardon. Like Nixon did.
Then they can go hang out at Bohemian Grove together.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. All right, so that was a pretty good morality check you just put us through there, Mr. Brown. All right, so we're going to quickly jot through the next thing because I don't think everyone watched all of it. Well, I think Trevor sat through it all, but the second season of Love, Death, and Robots dropped on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I myself admit from the last time that I have not seen a lot of. I actually did go back and watch a couple of the episodes from the first season, and today I went through and watched got a couple of them done tonight. So anyone else have any thoughts about this?
I love the variations in style. To start off with, the first one was very, very cartoony. Like the only way I could describe it is like gigantic heads and little tiny bodies.
Mm-hmm. I would quick interject. The thing I did notice was, so the first season is 18 different cartoons. This one was 8, which, I could see. I mean, the first season they were able to pull from a much wider source. I mean, some of these had been done 2 and 3 years previous.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Whereas the stuff for season 2 was fresh out of the gate sort of stuff. Like this was stuff like just being created. So they didn't have as big of a pool to pull from. And in some ways, I think they could have taken some of the ones in the first release and held them for the second season. And then it would have been 13, because it's altogether 26 episodes. They could have done 13 and 13, but they didn't know if they were going to get a second season. So,
that would have been that probably if they, I guess they just decided, hey, here's what we got. Let's put them all out. We never know. And then it became popular. Like, oh, crap,
now,
I guess we
what I'd like to see is if, as more stuff is developed, they just kind of start tacking them on to the end of season 2 and eventually fill that out to an 18. That'd be great.
Saying, that's the thing. There's no reason not to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like here's the first 8 we got, series. And more is coming.
So what did you say, Gav?
No, it's just it's episodic. It's individual cartoons that can be skipped if you felt like it. So I mean, it would just be super easy to tack it on at the end. But yeah, the style was the differences in styles was really good.
Yeah, they did a great, like every episode had a unique style, a unique feel about it.
Oh, for sure.
To me was, I mean, I got through all 8, and I was just like, wow. There was, from an a CG standpoint, hats off to these people. There was just some incredible work done. But then seeing all the different styles that they, rather than let's do hyper real. They were like, we're gonna pick a style and we're gonna make it work, and they did. They made it work so well.
That second episode, like it was just like raw, like hard lines everywhere, and I mean that was probably animated in Flash or whatever the equivalent of that is now, but
I'm not sure what they did that one in. I doubt it was Flash.
So
that's all I remember these days.
I threw it onto the computer while I was setting up for recording this evening and watched the first couple of episodes. But I realized when I got to the second episode, because I wanted to see if I recognized any of the voice actors, and which I didn't. So, but as I went into IMDb, the first episode that I saw was actually listed as the 5th episode. The second episode I saw was actually the 3rd episode, and the 3rd episode I saw was actually the 1st episode. According
so
to
what episodes
IMDb.
did you see?
I saw the first one was the automated customer service, which is the killer vacuum.
Yep,
so it is episode 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So on IMDb, it's listed as the 5th episode.
The way that Netflix played it was automated customer service first,
Ice and then Pop Squad. That's as far as I got, was Pop Squad and all that. Which is fantastic because between the three of them, completely different looking styles and the way they're done and all that. I think Ice was probably my favorite because it reminded me of Tron Uprising, the prequel series to Tron Legacy that they had out there with the elongated characters and all that, and the really harsh angles and whatnot, which was really cool. But
it felt like Samurai Jack to me.
A little bit of Samurai Jack too.
Very angular sort of design.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also a sense of majesty to it too, like awe.
Because they would hit a pose and then have like a moving hold of that pose.
That's right. Yes. Samurai Jack. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Which episode was that?
That one was the episode called Ice.
That robot vacuum cleaner, by the way.
Crazy.
If they solved the bugs, that'd be a pretty cool thing to have in your house.
Yeah. As I said, I saw all 8. Each one was very different in terms of style, different message. Now the only criticism I'm going to have is, so the season 1, each episode felt like a complete story. I mean, this is a story they could expand out to a hour and a half long movie they wanted to, or as the little short that they did. And they were a story. The problem I had with a lot of these ones in season 2 is they were more of a happening. They didn't feel like a start, middle, end story. They just kind of felt like this is a quick slice of this person's life, and we couldn't tell if this is their normal daily routine or this is something that they felt like they were not really too short, but not complete. Like there was more that they were going to do, but just ran out of time. So
the 3rd episode was definitely felt like that. The one with the albino guy.
Yeah, like Snow in the Desert felt like it was a little too short. Pop Squad felt like it kind of ended abruptly. Yeah, so there was a lot of that. Like a lot of the episodes felt like they just end abruptly.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, that's the end of our time period. Let's cut it off here.
Whereas like season 1, like Suits, there was a start, a middle, an end. It was then they pull out for the dramatic, thing that we could tell more stories in this genre sort of thing, or this universe, but it still felt like what they told us was a complete story. Which is why I had some, this season, like season 2 looked nice. There were some interesting ideas, but overall I would say it's inferior to season 1. Because I could pick out 8 from season 1 that would knock, even the weakest 8 from season 1 that would knock the bejesus out of season 2. Like, I don't think any of season 2, the best of season 2 is not as good as the worst of season 1.
Oh, that's a most unfortunate thing. But season 2 was still pretty good though, right?
Oh, it was great.
Okay,
but that also tells you how good season 1 is.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Fine, then I'll go back and watch all of season 1 then, Trevor, if you insist.
Definitely worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember like when I saw like volume 1, as they call it, or season 1, there was really no bad episodes. Like every one of them had something, a unique style, a unique story, a unique message, and felt complete. There was none that felt like it ended too fast or ended abruptly with something left untold. Which, for me felt like, these are, even though some of these shorts are like 11 minutes long, I think the shortest is 6 minutes when Yogurt took over, was the shortest episode of season 1. They still in that time told a complete story. Whereas Pop Squad is 18 minutes.
Yeah.
It feels like they chopped off 6 minutes somewhere.
Right. Yeah. It did seem to feel like I was watching it. It was like, wait, what?
Yeah. I was like, it's like it starts credits. I'm like, no. What?
Did I hit something on the what?
Yes, I actually
did I skip ahead?
Like, nope. That's how it goes. That's how it played out. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's why I was, back to film structures class with Mark Simon. The difference between a story and a happening.
Right.
And I was just like, these 8 episodes, 6 of them are happenings because they don't tell a complete story. They just tell a quick slice that doesn't, it ends in a way that it's not like, ooh, leaving you on a cliffhanger. It's like someone, hit stop halfway through the VCR. Yeah, Mike, we got to get you a Netflix account. This is ridiculous. You're missing out on so much right now.
If you'd like me to get a Netflix account, please donate to our Patreon.
Or when you do take the 1 month limited, like introductory membership, you're gonna have to binge for 30 days. You're just gonna have to tell the family and tell work, I'll see you in a month.
That's the problem with being a Netflix expat.
Yeah.
Time to take all that vacation at once.
Yeah, you drag the refrigerator into your office. You bring a microwave, maybe an air fryer, toaster oven, maybe the deep freeze.
You have one of those Gavin warm toilets that they have in Vancouver.
Exactly. Just
and a catheter. You'll need a catheter.
A thunder mug you could hook off the side of a chair and just tell the family, I'll see you in a month. Tell work, I'm taking an extended vacation. Just tell the wife, deal with the bills for a month. I'll be out. When the door opens, I'll see you again.
A month later, Mike emerges all emaciated.
He's like, I did it. Who are you? Wait a minute. How many kids? Are you new?
Pies. We made pies.
Exactly. But I saw them all.
You guys convinced me. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, the nice thing about Netflix is, you can binge it all at once. The downside about Netflix is, you can binge it all at once. Because, luckily these were shorts. So I was able to, it was about 2 hours total of having to watch. And I'd split it over 3 hours to do it. But if it was like, Jupiter that was a tough one to try to, so it was like a bit of an episode here. And at the end of the day, I got some more. The next morning, got the rest. That's one episode done. It took a while. Luckily, when Harrison was napping, I was able to, as long as I kept the volume low enough and turned on the closed captions, it was good.
Right.
Did you use any assistance like children's Flintstones chewable morphine?
No, just after he eats, he gets drowsy, and then I've got at least an hour. So,
is that how you get through it all, Gavin? Children's chewable morphine, yeah.
Well, it's more like just
Flintstone kids. Yeah. 10 million strong and drooling.
All righty then. So on that note, I think we can.
Yes, I am victorious.
She got the children's morphine.
She's got the children's morphine. Yeah.
Yay.
Children's morphine.
You
have to be there. You have to listen to the podcast.
Morphine.
Children's morphine.
Yeah, children's morphine. You have to listen to what we were talking about. That's all. No. You'll listen back. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our movie Showdown, and this is where we go to Mojo.
Every time you say Showdown, I feel like I have to sing.
Yes,
Stop.
I know. And
Round 3.
yeah.
Fight.
So do you want to put that in that ear there?
Here
Guys,
comes the
Even
fifth
now.
member.
guys, we have our fifth member joining us for the Ultimate Showdown.
Hate your butts.
Yes, I know you hate earbuds. And so we're going to be using the reference to boxofficemojo.com, where we have a listing of the top grossing.
How do you not say Mojo Jojo every time you have to say Mojo?
Jojo?
Oh, Jojo.
See? Mojo Jojo.
Next
time
I will defeat the Powerpuff Girls.
Okay, Gavin, you're recording our PSA for this week.
What's the PSA?
Public service announcement.
So
Mojo Jojo says now, but no copyright infringements.
So basically what you're going to do is you're going to inform the listeners. Have you guys not listened to any of our episodes? It starts off with a PSA of a different character telling you that
Why
you're
do they
listening
need to
to.
listen to it? They already heard it. They were there.
No, he adds it after.
No,
But I mean, you said they don't listen to any of the episodes. I'm saying, why do they need to listen to the episodes?
No,
They
no,
hate
no,
them.
not the episodes, Adrian. The
The
PSA, he
PSA,
adds
I
it.
know.
He tacks on to the start.
yes.
If
Yeah.
he's
All
saying
right,
the reason why you
I'll
have
try to do it in the Mojo Jojo voice.
Yes. So basically you just tell them you're tuning into Geeking Off the Page and that it's a spoiler cast. So be warned. That's all it basically needs.
That sounds dirty, right?
What?
Is it supposed to sound dirty?
Geeking Off the Page? Yeah, sort of. Yeah. It's a double entendre.
It's not a very good one. It's a
Sometimes
double
it's
entendre for a bunch of dudes.
Be right back. Just gonna go geek off.
Exactly.
As long as it's off the page.
I do not have a tasty beverage.
If it's
Okay,
on
go
the
get
page,
yourself a
you-
tasty beverage. Go get yourself a
Fortunately, I have
tasty
my comic
beverage.
book protectors.
Let's see how well you handle them.
Time to make the donuts.
I don't know what that means.
I'd bend her over a barrel and show her the 50 states. Is that from a movie? It is
I
now.
don't know what that is either. I don't like that kind of music.
There was a Jason Sudeikis movie.
All right. So, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the listings of the top 100 top grossing movies of all time. It's been calibrated to be matching to the inflation. So it's the modern day pricing that everyone's making. And this week we are doing our third seed matchup. And according to our list, our third top ranking movie is actually number 8 in position, and that is the 2012 The Avengers, Marvel's The Avengers, and it brought in a grand total of, a gross total of $1,518,815,515.
I learned today that you could buy 30,000 cars with $1 billion.
Yeah, so
But
this
$1
is
million will only get you 30 cars.
This is Jeff Bezos. Like, this is the money he finds in his couch.
Yeah, right? Jerk.
He just made it now. And now.
Yeah. And again,
Now.
And we're going to put it up against the number 14th seed, which in the total list is actually number 63.
How did you come up with which movies go against what movies?
We do them in the basically when you have a March Madness brackets and all that. It takes the top team and puts it up against the 16th team, and it takes
Why?
the second team. It's just the
It's
way,
the way they do it.
It's the
Why?
way they do it.
What is the
It's
logic?
just the way the NCAA
Why
Why
does it.
not?
It's the way the NBA does it. It basically gives the bottom, the less team of
NCAA. not the
NCAA. Sorry, Ball. What did I say?
You
I
the
said
NBA.
NBA. I said NBA. Wow.
Which
Yeah, they
sport
never
is
do.
that?
College basketball.
All of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, it gives the lesser team a fighting chance to make it further in. So it's just
Okay.
basically if they win against the number 1 seed,
Okay. But
get a-
there's no way in heck this movie is going to win against this movie, no matter what kind of
Whoa,
chance
whoa,
spots
well,
you
that's
give
what
it.
this discussion is about. we're going to talk
We
about.
Well,
should
that's why
debate
we
this.
brought you in, Adrian, because we need a tiebreaker because we're pretty
We're going
sure
to
this
debate
will
this
be.
with poignant points and smart
Okay,
analysis.
if any
So
of
who-
if any of
who's
you
up?
are voting for this one, let him finish.
Okay,
Sorry.
so we got
I
the.
interrupt.
I could just cut all this out because I could just go right into. So
You
the
go do
number
whatever
14.
you need to do.
Good luck editing this one, Troy.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So the number 14th position, which actually in the big list is actually at number 63, is 2007's Spider-Man 3, which brought in $894,983,373. That many people.
I don't think anybody went to see it twice. I should have.
Okay, so where are we all going to see? As we can see, Mr. Brown is doing a little dance down
you
there.
dancing?
Mike is making a little love.
Yeah. Okay, so
Hey,
all
they
right.
disappeared.
So
Where did they go?
didn't go anywhere. They're still there. They're still on screen. It's just relax. I got to bring up the scenario of the movie. So the Avengers from 2012 is actually Earth's mightiest heroes must come together and learn to fight as a team if they are going to stop the mischievous Loki and his alien army from enslaving humanity. Now, we got a little bit of a problem here because, of course, we now know about this person, but at the time, this guy was pretty cool. And it's directed by Josh Whedon.
I mean, anybody who knew him didn't think he was cool, but people that didn't know.
But I think we're going to go with what we knew at the time. At the time, Josh Whedon did an amazing job, is what I think we're going to go with. I mean, we're not going to.
Oh yeah, you can't dismiss the movie just because he's a dick.
Exactly.
So what's the story with Joss Whedon? Not to derail the conversation, but I knew there's some stuff going on in the headlines. I didn't follow any of it.
Apparently, he was really abusive during Buffy and Angel, but especially Angel, and
Very toxic.
very toxic. And he was toxic in a lot of his movies too, especially to the women. Made really, and then he would deliberately make them uncomfortable, and then he'd make comments about how they were uncomfortable. Like it was like all a big joke for him that he was making people feel.
Was there any allegations on the Marvel movies?
Yes.
Yes. Who though? I don't know. I just read Claudia's thing, and I didn't read anybody else's. And that was all.
What's the details, Trevor, if you know them?
Charisma Carpenter. I
there
read
has
her
been-
shit.
Some tweets by Scarlett Johansson have kind of alluded to the fact that because things like in Avengers, that she wasn't trying, even though she had one of the most physical roles. And I mean, when you look at the sheer amount of work that she did to get ready for the role, and then to have that demeaned, it would be kind of shitty to do that. So, yeah. It just, I mean, she hasn't come out and said it, but
apparently he was really horrible to
Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
During the reshoots of Justice League. So
yeah.
Anywho, that all aside, not wanting to derail this, Michael.
Hey, I'm just trying to make this an even battle, Troy.
Can you pass me that oil because the dog is farting.
We now have an over-under on this battle.
All right, and of course the movie stars all of the top team Avengers: the Robert Downey Jr.'s, the Chris Evans, the Mark Ruffalo's, the Chris Hemsworths, the Scarlett Johanssons, the Jeremy Renners, and our great old bad guy Tom Hiddleston playing the Loki. So that movie is going up against the 2007 Spider-Man 3, which everyone loves. A strange black entity from another world bonds with Peter Parker and causes inner turmoil as he contends with new villains, temptations, and revenge. That actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
But it wasn't. So this was the third. This is the third movie in the series that Sam Raimi had directed. And
let's face it, it only made the box office because Spider-Man 2 was amazing.
It was, yeah.
Except for Tobey Maguire.
Well, Sam Raimi
is
basically because had so much studio executive interference in it. He didn't want to shoehorn Venom in there. He just wanted to keep the Sandman.
I totally forgot he was in that movie.
Credit where it's due. Thomas Hayden Church did a pretty damn good Sandman. He was empathetic. You know, you felt for him. You understood why he was like this, like what drove him to this. But then just it suffered from just cram it all in.
Yeah, there was way too much going on in that movie.
Yeah, Sandman was amazing. He should not have been the guy who killed Uncle Ben. That was unnecessary.
Yeah.
If you just gave me a movie about Sandman robbing banks, I would be sold. I'd be all in.
Did I spoil this?
Spoil it.
All right. Sandman and Venom were not to be the villain. Raimi wanted Ben Kingsley as the Vulture.
Yes,
He
that is
fought long and hard. And what's his name? Avi Arad said, nope. Now, Venom was in the movie, but it wasn't Venom. It was just Eddie Brock. They were setting him up for movie 4.
Yes.
Brock was
I remember that.
He was supposed to be there, taking the photos basically before Parker could, underselling him, doctoring photos, all that sort of stuff. And the end of the movie was supposed to be the symbiote joining with Brock and giving rise to Venom. That was supposed to be Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, Venom shouldn't really be sandwiched in with other villains.
Yeah,
so where did Sandman come in then, Trev?
Venom has to be the lead.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, Venom, it's the first half of the movie, Spider-Man's got the black costume, so he needs a villain to fight. So they're like, well, let's throw Sandman in. And then they're like, well, then we've got to bring back the Green Goblin. And that's the movie we got.
Yeah.
I think
that was the movie nobody wanted.
I think if Raimi had been able to convince Marvel to keep Kingsley as Vulture, we would have had Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire.
I don't like Tobey Maguire. I'm okay with
it. Like him or hate him, he made a great Peter Parker.
No.
He made a terrible Spider-Man.
He was so emo. Oh, he's so melancholy.
They could have just replaced him with Elijah Wood. No one would have noticed. Everyone would be like, hey, seems a little less mopey right now. But anyways, yeah, I think it would have been a fantastic film. I think Kingsley would have acted his ass off, and kind of like, like with Spider-Man 2, where the villain steals the show, it would happen with Spider-Man 3. Vulture would have stolen the show.
Which one is Spider-Man 2?
That's Doc Ock.
Oh, that was really good.
Yeah.
So that would have been,
but still, that was
led to a Spider-Man 4. But I think Spider-Man 3 was such a big misstep. They're like,
no, it was kind of like it was like a really, it's all, I don't know.
I remember sitting in the theater going, there's a lot of pipes. Man, they're finding pipes everywhere. There's a shitload of pipes in this scene.
It was like wrestling with chairs.
Yeah, it was like, and from under the ring, more chairs.
Exactly.
They find a big pile of pipes. They found it. Good. Here we go.
Send more pipes.
And then to kill off Venom with a goblin bomb.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So
I think it's basically the textbook case of too much trying to crammed in there. So like whenever you think of like a movie that doesn't work, that's
like when you brainstorm, you're not supposed to put it all in.
Yeah, but I will say Gavin was right. Sandman was a great character. Like Thomas Hayden Church did a great job. That initial sequence after he's been transformed, where he's trying to pick up like his daughter's locket, that was such a great sequence. Both technically from a CG standpoint, but acting wise, you felt for the character.
Yeah.
But then they just kind of crapped all over it after that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do a quick Google search. It looks like Sandman was supposed to be in the original script. It was just Venom wasn't supposed to have the role, so that kind of took the Vulture spot.
Let's see. I have Raimi wanted another villain, Ben Kingsley, to be involved in negotiations to play the Vulture before the character was cut. Producer Avi Arad convinced Raimi to include Venom, who had a character lacking humanity.
Convinced in quotes.
It's like his producer muscles.
Yeah, basically said, "You want to keep working?" Yeah. So it's just, it's just like, why?
Okay, one thing I want to point out that first of all, again, the cast is Tobey Maguire, Kristen Dunst, James Franco,
I like
Thomas
her.
Hayden Church, Topher
Oh,
Grace.
Franco's bad too, right? He's
Frank
a bad guy now too, right?
Franco's a bad guy. I don't know about James Franco being. Oh, right, him
Yes, he
and
was.
Seth
Yeah.
Rogen have pretty much
Yeah.
split.
And Seth
Yeah.
Rogen, and now people are mad at Seth Rogen because, like, at the time he was like, "I'm going to stand by my friend," and now he's like, "Oh, my friend shouldn't have done that." And everyone's like, "Well, then you need to apologize to all the people that were treated like shit when you were standing by your friend."
That's right.
Anyway.
Now,
In
on
the
a side
past.
note, did anyone know that Sandman could fly?
He can fly.
Well, he turned into a giant cloud and just kind of woo.
Oh
down.
yeah, the dust storm.
The-
Was
the-
he
the-
like
the
a?
dust-
Was he like a
It was like the
tornado?
Mummy all over again. It's like, ooh, big dust cloud goes where it wants to go. I never knew Sandman could fly.
I would have been sold on Spider-Man 3 if the Green Goblin actually had a rubber mask.
Yes.
Now,
for
this
sure.
is one thing I do not understand why cosplayers can get these costumes right and Hollywood studios cannot. Like, if they just gave me the Green Goblin wearing a purple hood and a rubber mask,
That is
I
a
would have been
fantastic
able to
cosplay
forget
though.
everything.
Yeah, there's
Like
there's
even the
some-
fishnet over the green is fantastic.
They did a
Yeah.
good job on their cowl. You see, those points were beautiful.
Yeah.
but it's like they just can't get it right. Like
Okay.
we'll hire a
One
bunch of
thing.
cosplayers. Look at the costume for you.
Yeah.
make it look
Exactly.
good, too.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, of
Not only
course.
will they
Yes.
get it done, but
I
it'll
like
look,
purple.
it'll be comic accurate and screen look good on the screen.
Okay, so
Apocalypse.
Oh, do we have to go there? This is going to derail the whole
Don't even
conversation.
start with
No,
that,
I'm
Troy.
sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to open that.
Oh,
can of
All
worms.
right, we are so going to 12:30 now.
I was
Okay.
ready
You
to
guys
step
tired
in
about
the
it. It's
theater
only
on fire
quarter
when I
nine
saw
for me.
Apocalypse the first time.
No, we're good. He said 12:30 your time, Gavin.
Yeah, we're getting.
Fuck, that's 3
I'm
hours.
sleeping in tomorrow, so I don't care.
So one thing I want to point out is I had listened to the commentary track of Spider-Man 3 because I was
Mhm.
just curious of what it was, because it is Sam Raimi and a couple of the actors from the movie and all that. And at one point, Topher Grace being one of them actually asks Sam Raimi, why was Venom in this movie? So even Topher Grace was like, didn't know. And Sam Raimi comes out and says, the higher ups in Sony wanted to have a bigger villain count than the previous movie because they had to contend with what came prior to with
Right.
Spider-Man 2.
Why is
So-
there dirty mints here? That's gross.
So how many villains were in Spider-Man 2?
I think he.
One good one.
One, really.
Yeah, exactly. No, sorry. I'm like, wait, was there a second one? What are you talking about?
It's just the one.
No.
So
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3, why do you need three of them?
Yeah, exactly.
Even though the one flips side like halfway through, but still, at one point you've got three villains.
because he gets hit on the head.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is they went forward with the idea we're going to have three villains.
Well, it's the third movie. We got to have three villains.
Ay.
The Batman movies kept upping the
Yeah,
villain
but
count.
couldn't what I'm saying is couldn't the producers look back at Batman and go, huh, yeah, that didn't work. No, they're like, well, Joel Schumacher, it works.
Well, the thing is, you can have multiple villains as long as you have a good story. And this is a case where obviously they had a story in mind, and the producer said, no, we got to shoehorn all these other ones in. Same thing that happened with the Batman movies. It's like, wow, Batman's got a great rogue gallery.
Let's use
Let's put all of them in.
Eyes to see
It's
you.
like, which one do you want to use? Yes.
Look, it says paper napkin.
Now, if you look at even like Captain America,
paper napkin.
the movies, they have multiple villains in it. Like,
That's
what's
a
it?
terrible
Bartok
superhero.
and,
But the thing
Winter
is, the villain
Soldier
didn't-
and
the villain didn't travel through the whole film.
exactly. And that's the way you pull that off.
Batroc had that much, like he had that much of the film, and then we didn't see him again.
Exactly. And that's the way you do that, right? You have a narrative thread. You can introduce different characters if you need to. Like James Bond always does this in the movies, right? You have the opening sequence where he takes out a bad guy and then goes on to the main bad guy. The bad guy has different henchmen. You can do that,
Yeah.
right? You can have a whole handful of characters and make the movie work. But they just didn't have a story that made it work.
Yeah.
I will point out that both Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, the 2002 and 2004 version, did make the first Spider-Man movie made $825 plus million, and Spider-Man 2 made 788
It
plus
made
million
less?
dollars. Yep. Which is kind of weird that probably the better of the movie made less than.
Because its success brought more people to the theater for 3.
Right.
Yeah.
People were expecting
and that's
a better
why
movie.
and
then
that's
we were
why
so disappointed.
Spider-Man 3 made more money than both
Yeah.
previous
Now-
movies.
As
But
we
I
were saying,
think-
you can have multiple villains. Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Garfield did that by having the Rhino at the start, Electro carry
Yeah,
the
yeah.
middle and the end, and then Rhino at popping up
That's
at the
the
very
one.
end again.
That's the one we made.
But not
Make
at the
the
same
costume
time.
for?
They were never 2 villains at the same time, which
Yeah,
is
exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
the wise move to do.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gavin. I can't. It's enough.
What's
yeah,
that?
we
What
don't
is-
need to
oh,
see that. Give him some privacy.
Oh, what was the cat licking its butt?
Oh yeah. Leg
Well,
up in the air
at
like
least
a
the
basket.
audience at home
Going
now
to
know
that
what's going on.
Well, I to be fair, I did censor that a little late.
I
So
thought he was giving us a yellow card, and I was like, "What flag on the play? What did we do?"
One
well,
more
that,
card
that
to
was
Adrian,
that
you're
was a
gonna get red
foul
card
right
to
there.
BJ.
Oh, it's a foul. No, it's a cat.
But yeah, so I'm gonna say
Fine.
for me personally, the story of Spider-Man 3 felt so hacked together that it just made it
That's a good word.
not enjoyable. I mean, visually, there were some really good things done. Visually, there's some horrible crap they threw on the screen and said, yeah, it works.
Visually, I'd only say Sandman. That's the only thing I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy the Goblin. I didn't enjoy Venom. Didn't
that
enjoy
and
Spider-Man most of the time.
That
No,
and-
I don't enjoy Spider-Man.
That and
at all.
J.K. Simmons. That and J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh,
Well, there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
two selling
but
points there.
J.K. Simmons is good
Although-
all the time. He's
I
never bad.
kind of liked Bryce Dallas as
Yes,
Gwen
as
Stacy.
Gwen Stacy. I didn't like the fact that they shoehorned in Gwen Stacy into the
And
story.
I didn't like how she was more of an MJ character.
Yes, she was
Yeah.
totally an MJ.
That was
She-
very strange.
Yeah.
But the thing
Yeah,
is
that
what
was
got me
strange.
is Gwen Stacy's story does not. You need the Green Goblin to make her story work.
Yes.
You really do. And there was how much interaction between Green Goblin and Gwen Stacy, like goose egg. So it's like, yeah, she was just like thrown in for we got to throw that character in.
And that's the thing. Big picture, she should have been the main female interest in Spider-Man 1. If you're going to do that, you have the Green Goblin as the villain.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Gwen Stacy, play out that whole arc. Then MJ
And then
comes
have
in
the whole
Spider-Man 2.
you hit the jackpot tiger with MJ.
That's what the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies did better, was the Gwen Stacy dynamic.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield had better clothes as Peter Parker.
Well, see, Andrew Garfield was a much better Spider-Man because his Spider-Man had the quips. His Spider-Man had the look of his body, but
Yeah. Horrible Peter Parker.
his Peter Parker was way too cool to be Peter Parker.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Way too old, way too cool.
Yeah, way too
way
old.
too
Yeah,
suave.
way
And
too
I
old.
thought the costume looked a little goofy as well.
No, I mean,
Wasn't it just a nice jacket and a pair of pants?
Oh,
Yeah,
Spider-Man's costume.
Oh,
Spider-Man
Spider-Man's
costume,
costume. I was like, I'm sorry,
A couple of friends
you look like
worked
you
on
got
that,
dressed
and I
at
saw
work
a couple
for it.
featurettes. They did a crap load of simulation for the CG Spider-Man, like when he moves his arms, like bunching of cloth, how it would actually look, which looked good, but at the same time,
Make it
I
bigger.
kind of
no, I
want
want to know what's on the door. Is it a curtain?
We're gonna stop here for a second because Adrian is curious. What's that on the back of your door there, Trevor? Is that a?
Is it
It's
like an
a
argyle?
blanket covering up a movie poster, because when my wife is using the computer to do meetings, the movie poster is Super Troopers 2, so it's like a target silhouette with some bullet holes. I have it
Mother
up
of
because I have it
God.
signed by some of
It's
the cast.
It's argyle.
Cool.
It's an argyle blanket.
And there's
Cool.
all his
Silhouette
belts.
stuff, right?
His belts.
Oh, those are belts? Oh, I thought it was vinyl. I thought
those
it
are
was vinyl
taekwondo
for the silhouette or the cricket machine. Oh, that's a lot of belts.
It is.
Good for
I'm getting
you.
my next one next Friday.
How many belts can you get? Yeah, I see that. I'm ignoring the American stuff. how many belts can you get? Like, is there an end to the belts, or do they just keep going on?
It goes
forever?
up to 10th degree, like 10th Dan.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
still haven't.
several in each.
Well, there's 2 in each color, except for brown. There's 4 of them, and then black belt there will be like 10 of them. Well, actually 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I
But then
get my
there's the
official black
11th
belt
Dan, which
November.
basically is infinity color. It's
Yeah.
all the colors simultaneously.
Yeah, so
Belt
like
of
in
many
November, I'll
colors,
get my
just
black
like Gandalf. Oh, not Gandalf,
Yeah.
Sauron. Saruman.
Yeah.
Gray is no color.
Yeah, my daughter just got her second black belt.
Yeah,
today.
yeah, I saw that. Congratulations.
She's thrilled, like super.
I have a
thrilled.
Deadpool belt.
Cool.
Does it teleport?
No, and it's too
Well, then
big to
what's
go
the
in any
point?
pants.
That's not a Deadpool belt.
Useless.
It is a
Body
useless
slide by
belt,
two.
but it has
Come on.
pockets.
So it's not that useless.
Yeah, it has pockets. So it's more useful than most women's clothes.
All right. So, and in stark contrast, yes, I use the word stark. The 2012 culmination of just a few years of Marvel putting out movies, which again, we're just rehashing this whole entire thing with our conversation that DC isn't able to pull off what Marvel was able to do in a short span of a couple of years.
DC feels like it's left focus.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Well, I mean, Marvel did it in 5 years.
Yeah.
They 5 years. They took their time to
Yeah.
get some characters established first.
Exactly.
Yeah, they weren't rushing.
Plus,
But-
they dangled that little carrot at the end, like just right at the beginning, like at the end of Iron Man 1. That carrot of the we'd like to talk to you, Mr. Stark.
Yeah. That was so
It's
good.
like the entire audience went silent. It's like, is that Nick Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah. That,
Yes. So
they
that
were,
all.
they were able to build it up so that this is what they're going towards. Oh my God, we're gonna get an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And like I said, 5 years later, we have this movie, Marvel's The Avengers. It's a almost 2.5 hour movie that
Does not feel like 2.5.
did not feel like 2.5 hours. And the fact that you were going to bring such charismatic characters such as Iron Man and Captain America and Thor and throw them all into the same sequence, and to be able to balance that is definitely a feat. Unlike an impossible, it's an
I'm not sure I
impossible
would
for.
use the more term charismatic for Steve.
What do you mean for Captain America? It's not charismatic.
Eh, he's a
You don't-
bit
I
rigid.
got that reference.
Oh, Captain America's the best.
No, he is, but I'm just saying, like I don't know if I would use the term charismatic because that's a different kind of. He's a bit rigid.
Tony Stark is charismatic.
Yes, exactly. And Loki is charismatic.
Oh, I see what you're getting. Okay, I see. I understand. Okay, I had
Right.
a different. I have a different way.
Captain America is earnest.
Yes, he is. He's earnest and he's
He doesn't give up.
Okay, how about using the word colorful then? Several colorful characters that are completely
well, I
different.
mean, I
Like
think they're all well developed characters.
yeah. But the fact that
Multi-layered.
this one story was able to come together with, again, previous to this, there was the superhero and his small little group of people around him. Josh Whedon had to deal with these several different characters that were main characters in their other movies to bring
you
them
have
together
show
to
that they're all
become
main characters.
But not only
exactly
the main characters, he also grabbed some of the secondary characters
Yeah.
from some of the
Yeah.
movies.
exactly and
And
brought
how that
them
helps
up as well.
flesh it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's woven very well. It's
Yeah, and there's no doubt in anyone's mind that it was a very well done. It was pulled off spectacularly. Now, the story might be lacking at points. There might be some sort of like loopholes that don't seem, and some scenes seem like they were just stitched together for.
I only have one problem with that whole movie, and it's
What's
that
that?
that's the aliens dropping dead at the end. After Tony Stark fires the nuke into space and they all drop.
The switch turning them off. Yes, I took that as one of my problems with it.
But
as
I
well.
think that's my only problem with the whole movie.
That's an ace. How do you say it? Ace Deus device, right? God
Deus
device.
Machina.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
even Whedon said something like, "Oh, we couldn't figure out how to get rid of the aliens, so we just dropped them," basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you could have
right?
had a
Yeah,
cleanup
that's-
crew. You
Yes.
could have had the cops, going around taking care of things. Shield comes in, damage
Damage
control
control.
comes in, whatever. Yeah, bring all those
Yeah.
guys in, clean up the mess.
Well,
But
again,
that's my only problem. Did you guys have any problems other than that?
I would think that
I don't remember enough to. It's been too long since I watched it, which was what, a year, 2 years.
I had a problem with when Thor gets thrown into the Hulk cage and dropped into the helicarrier. He couldn't call his hammer to him.
Yep.
Like, and then after the
Would've
crash,
smashed
and
the
he's looking at
cage
his
easy.
hammer, and it's
I
like,
don't remember
do I
that.
go to pick it up? I'm like, buddy, it's your fucking hammer. Just pick it up. It's not like your worthiness got shaken because you fell out of the sky.
Well, now is this is I can't remember. This is before Thor 2 or after Thor 2?
This is
Before
before Thor 2.
So he basically, in the first Thor, he lost his powers. So he's basically
Oh, he's
just
shaky.
gotten back. He's a little gun shy at this point. And the
Yeah.
fact that he's
Not
realized
really.
that
I mean, he took on Iron Man and Captain America with really no hesitation.
Yeah,
So-
but self-confidence doesn't have self-confidence and doesn't have anything to do with your actual deeds, right? Like
it's-
you
it's
could
just
be
when-
doing something fantastic, but see if he's still feeling damage from his previous experience, right? Instead of being like, yeah, I just did all these things, he's focusing on the, oh my gosh, this just happened. Am I losing my powers again?
But the thing is so he just finished fighting the Hulk. He's in the cage. It starts falling, and he can't.
oh, that's
seem to
right.
hit
Yes.
the glass.
Okay. Yes, I forgot
What
about the
was-
sequence.
Why
I
didn't he
forgot
just
about the
start
sequence
spinning his
events.
hammer, basically stop in space, and the thing just crashes through, and he's hovering in the air, spinning his hammer. Like, why did he have this whole thing where he's trying to hit the glass and then hit the glass and couldn't? And
I
the
don't
last
remember
second gets
that.
free.
Yeah. That's
It
right.
was just
I forgot
like-
about the sequence. Yeah.
It's like, did Thor suddenly forget how to be Thor for a little bit? Like was there a momentary lapse where he's like, "Am I Donald Blake?"
Well, I also
Maybe
think.
he had vertigo from falling in the sky.
Well.
Yeah, he had vertigo.
Well, I think it's just part of a plot point to separate our heroes, give them
I get
each
that.
of
but
them,
it just
'cause-
felt like
It was poorly done.
Yeah,
that's what
it's
you're
like
saying.
when-
It's a poorly executed.
it's like when writers are trying to write for genius characters when they're not a genius themselves, and they
Right.
miss such an obvious thing and think, "Whoa!" And then the audience is like, "Isn't this guy supposed to be a genius and figure that out?"
Yeah, but you're forgetting common sense is not all that common, so the audience didn't catch it. Only the smart people did. The rest
Yeah,
of the
so
people are
it's-
like, "Oh, okay."
It's stuff like that watching the movie, I was like, "Huh?" And then I was like, "All right, fine, I'm still enjoying myself. Let's keep going." I liked, Hulk crashing into the warehouse and Bruce Banner and the guy's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you fell through." That was a
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
little
that
touch.
was nice. I did like that part.
And shows up on the guy's motorcycle.
I think the Hawkeye being punched out of the influence was probably a little too.
I don't remember. It
Yeah.
was so bad.
Basically, Black Widow punches Clint in the face, and it snaps him out of the influence
Puts
of,
the personality
right.
right back into him.
of
There
the
you go.
Mind Stone. What
Well,
was that?
speaking of Hawkeye, you reminded me of the second thing I had a problem with is that Hawkeye's power is he never misses.
Yeah.
When he's under control of the Mind Stone or whatever that is,
Can't hit
Yeah.
a damn
he
thing.
can't, exactly his power is to hit
Yeah.
everything he aims at. Now, my internal reasoning is okay, maybe Clint's in there and he's fighting it. He's throwing it off target. Maybe
Yeah.
he's,
Yeah.
that's the only way I can make sense of that. Otherwise, he should
Well-
have killed everybody.
Unless the Mind Stone can't hit everything. So even though it's controlling this body, it can't make this body do it because it doesn't know how to hit everything. You see what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
like you are like it's driving a mech and it doesn't know all the controls.
Maybe. That's more reason than they gave us in the movie.
Right?
So
Yeah,
I'll take
exactly.
it.
No, exactly. And for us to have to come up with this, how many
Hey,
years?
but
Almost
chicks dig giant robots.
chicks dig giant robots. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will say one thing. The comic edition of Hawkeye, he isn't a mutant. It's just learned skill. It's not like he's not like Bullseye where he has the mutant ability to always hit what he's aiming at. Except for
Well,
in
that freaks
Daredevil's
me.
in the case. In case of Hawkeye, it's just trained ability to be that
Yeah.
accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be when he's mind controlled, he loses a little bit of that edge.
Yeah.
That edge.
Well, yeah,
that
because that
puts him
takes incredible
up here, it's
focus, right?
just enough, and that difference is enough to make him miss.
Yeah. That makes
Like-
sense too.
Yeah, I'll buy that. Did you guys read the Ultimate comics with Hawkeye?
Are
It
you,
has
are you
some
talking about his
amazing moments.
toenail bit?
I was thinking in the kitchen with all the utensils, but talk about the toenail bit.
Oh, there's a scene where he's locked up, and he starts biting his fingernails off, and then he takes his fingernail and he flicks it at an opponent, and he gets it right in the jugular. The guy bleeds out.
Ew.
Yeah.
It's just he is just so good with his hand-eye coordination. He can do that.
I'm gonna bark.
Yeah.
It was not a particularly. It was a rather graphic scene of him biting it off.
Yeah.
So
Oh, stop.
Well,
In the
thing is,
comics
that was
where the
actually-
people they come in to kill his family in his kitchen, and he has all the utensils, and it's basically like, you picked the wrong spot to pick a fight with me. And he starts chucking utensils at everybody and starts taking everybody out.
Yeah. Now the thing is that one sequence, with the fingernail was actually derived from Bullseye after he was in a full body cast, and then they were like, he's lost his power and stuff like that, and he has a dossier in front of him, and there's a paper clip.
I've just said, I know what you're
And there's
saying.
a fly buzzing
Yes.
around.
Oh,
and
yeah,
with
yeah,
two
that.
fingers, he gets the paper clip and flicks it and nails the fly to a wall with a paper clip,
Yeah.
showing that he hasn't lost anything.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
the
that
fly
was-
in the paperclip.
Sometimes I wish I had those paper clips because flies. Oh god.
Or chopsticks.
Yeah.
Yagi-Do.
Now, what I'm hoping is that at some point in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series, that we actually have that kitchen sequence. That's got to be in there.
If they do, I'm going to be just jumping on the couch like a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Now, when I can't remember, I think it's an Age of Ultron. No, it was Civil War, when they're like, I thought you were retired. He's like, took up golf, shot 18, got 18. That was just such a great
That was
line.
such a good one-liner.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a throwaway line, but it says so much about the character.
Yeah, just like, what, perfected golf. First time out.
And I also enjoy Jeremy Renner's portrayal of the character. I mean, he plays the character the way that I always, because I was a big fan of Hawkeye, because I collected West Coast Avengers. Him and Mockingbird were a fantastic duo. I mean, when Jeremy Renner, while he never really looked like what was in the comic book, his attitude came across the way that I pictured it being if he were to be a real person, which is kind of cool. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like Jeremy Renner, like Alan Rickman in anything that Alan Rickman does. I mean, or did anything that Alan Rickman did. Yes, his Harry Potter, his Galaxy Quest, his friggin'
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
I was gonna say Dogma.
Now, I do wish that they gave Hawkeye the face mask at some point.
Yeah.
Come up with any reason why.
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
he doesn't
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
wear it
yeah.
all the time,
break
but
an orbital bone, have to put a mask on. It would have been great.
yeah, or hop on a motorcycle and he puts the helmet on, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
give me a reason to give that.
Maybe for the
I
Disney
like the
Plus
fact that
series.
this is a leather-looking cowl. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I never thought it would have been.
Really protect your head if you fall off a motorcycle.
Like, there's a way to make it look
Well, it's
modern and military,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
still
yeah.
stay true to the comic book. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
exactly. I
that's
agree.
one thing
Right,
wish they'd
right,
done as well.
right.
That's a good point.
So we're basically, I mean, I think going into this whole entire conversation, we knew right from the get-go that Emo Parker was not going to.
Well, I mean, that movie didn't stand a chance anyway because it was so poorly put together.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't name a single iconic scene from Spider-Man 3.
yes, you
other
can,
than the
and it's the
dancing.
dancing.
That's the one.
That's about it.
No,
The
one
dancing,
that
that's
doesn't
the
make me
only-
wince.
Oh, but that's not what you said originally.
Yeah.
You said
Okay.
you cannot
forgot
remember
that
the iconic
qualifier.
scene.
I mean, I like the fact that someone has taken that whole dance sequence and replaced Darth Maul fighting the Jedi in the Phantom Menace.
Oh, really?
That,
Oh, that's a great sequence. My
that
son
is
showed me
just
that one.
because the door's open and he's already dancing. Yeah.
Why I thought I had
Look it up on YouTube. You won't be disappointed.
We're just gonna scroll through this.
We can't talk about this and not show this.
Yeah.
This was the point in the theater when I wanted to walk out, but in hindsight, this is my favorite sequence of the movie.
Okay, well, let's change the definition of iconic.
Okay, but also the nice thing that went from that sequence there was that opening sequence of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where Spider-Man does the whole entire Tobey Maguire dance sequence in the Spider-Man costume. I mean, that was just hilarious. And even though, oh no, Captain Kirk,
What do they call it?
Trevor,
Chris
Steve
Pine?
Trevor.
What about Steve Trevor?
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine?
Chris Pine, doing the voice of Spider-Man at the beginning of Into the Spider-Verse, talks about how that was a mistake to do it. Oh, were you about to come down and join us?
Yes. If you guys aren't going to like screen share the Bully Maguire, I'm going to.
Hey everyone, this is Aslan. Hey, say hi. Say hi, Aslan.
Hey,
Hi, Aslan.
They say hi back.
All right, I'm sharing my screen, damn it.
What are you doing?
Why would you do this?
What are you doing now?
Because I just have to. Ready?
Oh, you got it?
Oh, this is brilliant.
This is
Nice. Oh, the dance sequence.
and the fact that they turn him in. There we go. Yeah,
we're just waiting for the dance.
Nice. And then he misses. Nice.
Yeah, that was well done.
So I'll stop that particular share. So yeah, it's stuff like that. It makes life better.
Yeah, for sure.
Extremely meme worthy.
Yes, and so a noteworthy scene in an otherwise terrible movie.
Yeah. So basically, the conclusion we're coming to, moving on to the next round, is going to be
Spider-Man 3. Nope.
2012's The Avengers.
In Universe B, it's Spider-Man 3. This is Universe A.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Quick question: did anyone pay attention to the amount of money that the Avengers made?
1.5 billion.
Well, it made out of the numbers, it actually only consists of 3 numbers: 1, 5, and 8. It's $1,518,815,515. There's 3 numbers in there, which I had to rewrite several times, thinking, did I write this down right? Did I write this down? All right, so when we come back next week to go on to the next round, we have the 4th place position movie, which actually is number 11 on the list, and that is 2015's Avengers: Age of Ultron. And that's going up against the 13th seed, which is at actually position 48, and that's 2008's The Dark Knight.
Age of Ultron was the only true Avengers movie, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay,
If you
well,
think about it, we'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah, we'll
spoilers.
But I
preview. The first movie is the team getting together. Second movie is the team together. Civil War is them breaking up, and then you have Infinity War Endgame, where it's just all over the place.
Right.
So the second movie is the only one where they're a proper team from the beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Point well taken. Yes. All right.
We'll talk about that more next week.
But that'll be more next week. So for the rest of us here, we're all going to be saying our individual goodbyes, and I hope that everyone joins us here to. Oh, wait, I think we have an inquiry before we actually end this podcast.
This is not as much comic related, more Canadian related. Has anyone seen the show Letterkenny?
Oh yes, of course. Oh hell's yes. It is a huge thing. You haven't? Oh, Michael.
Tell me about it.
Oh, wait.
Oh my God.
Okay. I hate to say this, but we pause this for a second, because if Adrian hears that we talked about Letterkenny and didn't include her, I will not be able to hear the end of it for a
Let's talk about it next week.
You want to bring it up next week there, Trevor?
I could bring it up next week.
Okay.
The reason I'm bringing it up is my wife just recently discovered it.
Oh, yay.
Loving all the Canadianisms.
Oh, yes, for sure.
And then she keeps looking at me like, do people in Canada really say that? And I'm half the time I'm like,
I mean, it's
You're ashamed by that?
Oh, some of them, like, I would basically snort cocaine off the cover of Gordon Corman's You Can't Do That at McDonald's Hall. That's something down here in the US, no one's
You
ever
would
heard
not
of
get
before.
that at all, no.
Up in Canada, I think everyone's had to have read that book at least once in their life.
Yeah.
So,
so if you, okay, how about this, Mike? Do yourself a favor. I'm pretty sure you'd be able to find, at the very least, clips somewhere of it.
Yeah.
There's what,
9 seasons.
9 seasons. 9 seasons. There's 9 seasons of it. The seasons aren't that long. They're on Crave here in Canada.
Yeah, Crave, Hulu down here. But it's
Hulu
already
down there, yeah.
there.
And
I'm
my
pretty sure
daughter's
you-
got Crave, so I can watch that.
But you
It's
got
like
Crave?
61 episodes.
My daughter does.
Okay.
That's a great thing about having old daughters, is you can steal their entertainment.
There you go. Do yourself a favor. Just watch a couple of it. And then,
Yeah.
All right.
Even just the first episode sets the whole damn tone.
It totally
100%.
does. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Again, yeah. Half the episode was Mary pausing it, going, "People really say that in Canada?" And me going, "Yep." Heard that in high school many times.
Yeah.
Because the smaller the town you came from, the more you hear a lot of these things, and you'll be like, "Oh God, I haven't heard that in like 30 years. Why?"
And again, it's very smartly written too, which is kind of
very
cool.
smartly written.
Yeah.
We might as well refer to those as Napaneisms.
Yeah, some of them are.
That's true. Yeah, you could totally do that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe even Miltonisms.
That would be kind of a an
These
average version
are
of
things
that
I would
around
100% expect Tour to say while we were in college. Like, I think one of the characters is based off of Tour because it was just like
the big guy, right?
Yeah, far too close.
there. Autopilot.
Far too close.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's enough. We're now okay. We don't want to build it up too much. I mean,
No.
Mike being the guy Mike is, he'll probably be like, nah, it wasn't that funny, guys. I mean,
And then we'll just have to collectively reach through the screen and just like that.
all right. So on that note, that's going to wrap up this episode. Hopefully everyone that was listening had some fun. And like I said, we are going to be doing this on the weekly basis. We might be changing around the actual drop date, but we'll keep you guys informed as to when that sort of thing is going to happen. We're looking for more towards a summer season being a change of our actual recording episodes, just to keep everyone informed. And we'll be changing the release date. Instead of recording on the Saturday and releasing on the Monday, we might do something in the middle of the week and release it later on in the week. But for now, I think we're all going to say collective goodbyes or individual goodbyes.
Collective goodbye.
Individual goodbye, and I put on pants.
Pants on? Goodbye.
Not you, Gav. Never you.
Oh, I didn't realize this was supposed to be a pants program. All right, I gotta go.
They're called shorts.
And the
Good
otters
apples.
strike back.
You have just been listening to Geeking Off the Page with your hosts, Mike Kitchen, Gavin Burbage, Trevor Brown, and Troy Bowman. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you could leave us a rating and comment, that would assist in allowing others to find this podcast more easily. You can follow the podcast on the following social platforms: Instagram and Twitter, search for @PlanetGeekPod, all one word. On Facebook, search for Planet Geek Productions. Or you can send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Buy the guys a coffee by going to Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/PlanetGeekPod. And know that any and all donations will go towards improving all current and future Planet Geek Productions programs. Thank you for listening.